Good morning.
Welcome to the morning show.
Yeah.
The Big Show with Glenn and Angel on Kiss 92.
Good morning.
Sometimes getting out of bed in the morning is a lot to deal with all at once.
Good morning and welcome to Happy at Work Thursday. Adrian Chu from Korea Agility International is here, and with him is Frank Koo. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Glenn.
Okay, Adrian, tell us more about Frank. Why is Frank here?
Yeah, Frank is here and he's going to give us some frank comments about how you pivoted from pure corporate for so many years into a portfolio career. And the reason why we are talking about portfolio careers as we have been in the past couple of weeks is because on the 19th of April, we are having a Mid-Career Magic event over at SPH Auditorium where we're going to have discussions on how you can enjoy the second half of your career, either via pivoting into new roles, by progressing your career, or having a portfolio career. So tickets are still available on careeragility.org/kiss92fm, and that's why we have Frank as one of our panelists for the event. And because he's successfully pivoted from corporate into the bold and brave and scary new world of portfolio careers, I thought it would be nice to have him come and share his experiences, the joys, the fears, the terror.
What made you change though, Frank?
Wow.
What made you decide to switch?
Oh, first of all, boredom.
Okay.
Because I've been working in corporate job for more than 30 years. And I decided that at a certain point in time, well, good thing is I have some savings. I thought I can take some time to be managing my own time as well as living life on my own terms.
Okay.
And do things I like. And therefore, I decided to leave the corporate world, hopefully for good, and get into my own portfolio career.
Were you in the same industry from the time you left school up until 1 year ago? Because you're celebrating 1 year being out of the corporate world. Were you in the same industry, same company, or what did your career look like?
Wow. I actually crossed two industries.
Okay.
First is in technology, and the second is in education.
Wow, that's very different, huh?
Oh yeah, indeed. In fact, I started with technology with IBM as a management associate, and then that got me into climbing the career ladder. I went to HP, or rather, actually, I joined a company from IBM called Digital Equipment, which was acquired by Compaq, which was acquired by HP.
HP, yeah.
So I did not change company. The company changed itself.
Right. Okay.
And then after that, I was with Oracle for 10 years, and I ended near the global financial crisis in 2008 when I was leading Oracle's South Asia as well as Singapore business. And then I made a switch to education.
And what did you do for education? Because was it a vertical that you already were well versed in the technology world?
Well, it's a partial vertical.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more like a slanted vertical. If you want to.
Diagonal?
Yeah, diagonal vertical. That was the time in 2008 when, I was actually impacting a bit of people because there was retrenchment in the tech sector. And I have to actually announce the retrenchment within the organization. And
isn't that the hardest thing to do?
That was the hardest thing to do. And that was the first time where I have to be in charge of a retrenchment. And two of my ex-colleagues who were my friends actually were retrenched, went into depression.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was helping them through the depression. And then I said, wow, this is something that is very meaningful for me. And that started me thinking about, what I can do to really help people in the course of my professional journey.
To create an impact.
Right. I explored a lot of different things at the time, but in the end, there was a search firm that says that there's this education company that's interested in looking for someone to do change management as well as running the business. So I thought, that's the God sent to me, and I decided to join this organization. So the change management part was what I've done before, but running the education business was something very new.
Okay.
All right, let's get to know Frank a little bit more. It's Adrian Chu and Frank Koo right here on Happy at Work Thursday. Dua Lipa is next. This is Training Session on KISS. All right.
Okay, so I mean that's all done. What's Next Play? Tell us a little bit more about Next Play before we get into the, are you regretful that you left the corporate world?
No, which is why he hasn't closed the door completely.
Right,
He's
yeah.
like, okay,
Yes,
hopefully he's out of the corporate world.
Hopefully,
but,
yeah.
But look, I mean, if there's another calling for you to get back into the corporate world, you're open to that as well, right?
I've decided that I've done my job. That's it. I'm
the answer
exploring
is
life.
no.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
had
So
enough.
yeah, that's right.
So what's
pretty
Next
much it.
Play?
Well, Next Play is something that's it's a term actually was used in LinkedIn,
Okay.
where I was for 8 years before stepping out. In LinkedIn, when someone changes the job within the organization, gets promoted, or even leave the company, we call them Next Play. So the idea is that instead of going for your next role,
Yeah.
next job, or even next chapter, which is a bit boring, what you do must be fun. So we use the term Next Play to celebrate the transition.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, and so when we decided to leave LinkedIn, I thought, this is a term that's interesting. If I want to start a business, I want to be involved in this, helping people in their transition
Oh, right. Okay.
and make it a play rather than just, work. I said, okay, let's start a company called Next Play. And of course, then I went to search and say, has this been registered before?
Will LinkedIn come after me and
Will it come after me?
I was thinking the same
for
thing.
like royalties or something?
Thankfully, LinkedIn did not trademark the
Yeah,
name as well.
okay.
Yeah, and my colleagues were very supportive and said, yeah, let's do it. And then I registered the company.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And I even have a nextplay.global, nextplay.sg, nextplay.international. If
Take them all, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nextplay.com was taken at
Yeah.
that time. Yeah, because someone's doing something else. But I have the URL, I have the company name with me. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, to help people enjoy their life in the next chapter.
So it's transitioning, is it? Is that what you do?
It's
You
really
help
about
transition?
transitioning, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, career transitioning. That means also life transitioning as well.
Wow. Okay. Very cool.
So so 1 year out of corporate, do you miss the corporate expense account? Do you miss the corporate life?
I miss a lot of this. The status,
perks,
the perks, the status, the title,
the business class travel, all the good
business
stuff.
class travel. Now I don't travel.
Yeah.
SQ doesn't come to me anymore and say, "Oh, SQ, I know you're traveling economy class. How are you feeling?" So, but it's good. Actually, it's good because I feel very free. Yeah. In
No
fact,
pressure.
interestingly, I had a coffee with my ex EA. I thank her profusely because when I was in corporate, when somebody wants to meet up with me, I said, well, Su Ping, why don't you help me arrange? And everything will settle. Now,
You got to
I
do
have
it
to
yourself.
do it myself, do it with my client. And if two members of the client in different departments don't talk to each other, I have to do it for both of them, arrange for both of them to come together, meet one another, and meet with me. So, these are the perks that I missed a bit, but after a while, I got used to it. I thought, it's kind of like you either suck on it or you enjoy the experience.
So it's independence, right? It's some form of independence because before you used to have to depend on someone else to do all that.
Depend. No, just
Depend.
order and
It is. It's
command.
not order. No, command. No.
I like that. I
That's
like
a
that.
terrible word.
I-
He needs one of those.
yes.
Two of those. So
Two,
might
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I've been thinking of getting like a PA or something, for myself.
And you might ask
I'm-
him. Ask him why. Ask him why.
Because I,
Yeah, why would you like to get a PA?
Yeah.
I don't like doing things on my own.
Because he forgets. That's why.
Yeah, I tell you the downside of having a PA, Glenn.
Okay.
You can't manage your time. Your PA will manage your time for you. You do what your PA tells you to do.
So even if you don't feel like having coffee at a certain time with a certain someone, you have to have that coffee at a certain time with someone. Yeah, because they manage it according to your free time, right? Maybe you feel like doing something else at that time.
Absolutely, and your free time sometimes is not determined by you.
Yeah.
It's determined by the other person who wants to catch up with you. So there's no freedom, and now I have more freedom. If I don't meet someone, I can say that, sorry, I'm traveling, I can't make it.
What about things like finances and all that? Because with corporate jobs, you get paid at the end of the month. You have a check coming in, despite having savings, like you said you did before you left the corporate world. How's that financial flow? Is it something you miss as well?
Well, thankfully, I don't.
Okay.
Right now, because I thought I have financial freedom, right? And therefore, it allows me to be able to experiment on different things, even if there's no income. So I do quite a lot of pro bono work. I volunteer in organizations, and it's just pure voluntary work. And so I thought that because of this financial stability, I can have freedom and choice to do what I want to do.
And that's what you always say, right?
Yeah,
That
the freedom
fund, right?
Yeah, once you have your freedom fund, you're no longer chained to a 9-to-5 job, and you can actually do the stuff that you enjoy doing. You find meaning in, and that's why we always tell our clients who are in their 30s to start building that freedom fund early, so that you can have that portfolio career earlier in your life if you want to. And even if you don't want to, at least there's some money there where you can
Do
if
whatever you want.
If your boss gives you a tough time, you can just tell a boss to bye-bye.
Yeah.
And I'm out of here.
I like that. Freedom fund.
Freedom fund, yeah.
Yeah,
6
but I mean,
months.
how much is
or-
enough?
No,
That's the
but
thing.
but you said it's your salary times what? 6 months, 10 months, a year.
Actually, as much as you can.
Minimum?
Minimum 6 months is a minimum.
It's still not good enough.
Yeah, but if you want maybe a year, 5 years, 10 years, so
Of your
basically,
salary.
yeah, save as much as you can. Don't as I said last week, don't buy the expensive latte, 3 lattes a day. that builds up to a lot of money in a year, close to 4,000 a year if you buy 3 lattes a day.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and over 10 years, that's 40 grand. So it's all about planning. So when it comes to portfolio careers, you have to have that big picture with regards to the financial freedom and also the mental freedom as well, right, Frank?
Okay, we're going back on air. Traffic updates.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the AYE towards the MCE after Tuas West Road, look out for a broken down vehicle. Also on the KJE towards the PIE, an accident before Senja Road's entrance. Look out for that. Finally, on Brattle Road towards Lornie after the Woodley underpass, look out for an accident that's causing a backup to Mount Vernon Road. Avoid the right lane if you're heading down that stretch. If you spot anything at all, our number is 8855
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV right here on Kiss 92. It is Happy at Work Thursday, and that's why we have Adrian Chu from Career Agility International with us. And just a reminder that we'll be having the Mid-Career Magic Workshop on the 19th of April at the SPH Auditorium, all right? And, well, today's guest, Frank Khoo, is the founder of Next Play and was the former head of Asia Talent Solutions for LinkedIn as well. And he's going to be one of the panelists at the Mid-Career Magic Workshop. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, Glenn.
So, Frank, it's been 1 year since you left the corporate world and since you started Next Play. What have your greatest adjustments been, if any?
Well, the undulating part of life. So, when when I was in corporate, there is always a cadence, right? There's a ritual. You start in the morning, you go through it. Sometimes you take late night calls, and then you sleep at 2 a.m. But that's the cadence. But now, coming out, I have to find my own cadence. I have to find, what time do I wake up? Right? What do I do when I wake up? What are things that will happen throughout the day? How do I plan ahead? How do I make appointments? How do I come up with, my products, my offering? And when do I need to deliver? So there's a bit of fluctuation, which took a bit of time to adjust to.
A bit of a learning curve as well, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to be more disciplined as well with your time.
Oh, absolutely. Very disciplined. You need to plan ahead. You need to set timeline for you to complete certain things, because otherwise it can just last forever.
Yeah.
So you feel sharper these days. Sharper. I'm sure you feel healthier as well.
Do you?
I do. Sharper, more creative, healthier, because I go to the gym almost every day right now,
Right.
because I can manage my own time. And at the same time, I need to come up with things that I've never have to before. For instance, now I got to build my own PowerPoint
Yeah.
using Canva. Whereas in the
Yeah.
past, my team used to do it, and then I just review and say, take this
this out,
away,
change
add the other
this,
one,
yeah.
and boom, somebody
Yeah.
else does it.
So lovely.
Yeah. But now AI on Canva
Oh,
does
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
They do
yeah.
presentations for you as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's a savior for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI is fantastic.
So how do you balance? I mean, if you are planning everything now, before you were kind of spoilt in the corporate world because everything was done for you, right? Your PowerPoints, like you said, your scheduling, your
Lovely to
you
be
know.
spoiled.
But now, how do you find that time to say balance your work, balance your gym time, and then your social life?
I'll try to structure a week ahead,
Okay.
right? Now, if there is a certain amount of commitment, that will come first. So, for instance, if let's say I have to deliver a workshop, a 3-day workshop, I'll just structure it ahead of time. And if let's say I were to deliver a keynote, I'll structure it ahead of time as well. Now, and then for the rest of the time, which I would have, about in general a month, about at least half the time is up to my personal decision. And then I can let's say I go, instead of going to the gym today, I go tomorrow, or let's say go at night, or if let's say I were to meet with a friend, I can just arrange it myself. So it becomes fairly flexible for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, let's continue to talk to Adrian and Frank on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's OK Go. Here it goes again on Kiss 92. All right. A reminder once again to sign up for the Mid-Career Magic happening on the 19th of April. Let's see now. It's at careeragility.org/Kiss92FM.
That's right. Well done.
I have a question for Frank. So, Frank, the decision to pivot from corporate to non-corporate to go on your own must have been a major one. How was it an overnight decision, or how long did it take for you to incubate from the very first time you felt I had enough of this to the time when you tendered your resignation? How
Right.
long was that?
Well, it started a couple of years before I finally left. And as with most things, it's due to COVID.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's interesting, during COVID, many of us have time to reflect on our life and think about what we can do. And something interesting came out because when we're at home, where I didn't used to look at my LinkedIn so often, because
Yeah.
to me it was work, I had more opportunity. And a lot of, the feeds that came along to me are from people whose life I thought was pretty interesting. I didn't know it then, but now I realize that these are from the top voices who are actually taking on portfolio careers themselves. And the reason why they need to do that is because when you are out, when you don't represent a company, you don't have a title, you need to brand yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And so I thought, wow, that's interesting. There is a group of people whose life are very interesting, which I've never explored before. And then I said, well, would you like to catch up for coffee?
Oh, okay.
And as you know, during COVID, all of us have cabin fever. People love to catch up for coffee once in a while.
Yeah.
And I got to meet a whole brand new group of people who are portfolio careerists, solopreneurs, business owners. And I thought, oh, life can be better on the other side. And then, post-COVID, when I was on the 7th year with LinkedIn, right? And I call this a 7th year itch. I thought, why don't I, be more determined in thinking about what I want to do? And by that time, LinkedIn is a fantastic company. I learned a lot from LinkedIn. I have fantastic colleagues. But because I'm a business owner, so I within LinkedIn, I have to do forecasting, revenue generation, make sure that my team gets a contract signed by customers. Now, it was fun at first, but after doing this for 7 years, I thought, life can be better. And that was what I started thinking about, what can I do next? And in the end, I gave my boss a 9-month notification.
9 months.
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
that's fair to him, right?
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah,
that's
fair for the company as well, because my
Yeah.
boss told me that she needs to, look out for
someone else,
replacements,
yeah.
and we need to plan our announcements because, if an executive will leave, all of a sudden, the rest of people will be wondering what's happening to the company.
And that means you left on very good terms.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
which is great.
Yeah, I had at least 20 farewell parties for all my team members.
Wow.
Even now, I keep in touch with them on an
Yeah.
ongoing basis.
Is life greener on the other side?
Well, it depends on your mindset. Really, it can be very depressing if, let's say, you take every failure as a failure on itself. Right? And I've experienced a lot of downs. Right. So, for instance, you have a client that says, "Oh, I love for you to do something," and then it doesn't happen, right? And people will come to you and say, "Hey, I love what you're doing. You've been posting on LinkedIn. It's fantastic.
But then
can you
nothing."
give me a talk which I have to prepare and say pro bono?" Right?
Oh,
and these are
yes.
companies running billions of dollars of revenue, right?
Yeah.
So I have my downs as well. But the question is, how do you take this kind of experience? So personally, I choose to take it as a learning experience rather than a failure. And that was what got me going over the last 1 year.
You were talking about branding earlier, like self-branding, because I think especially coming out from the corporate world, because you're no longer branded under a company. Now you are the brand. How important is self-branding for everyone, because everyone's selling something, right?
Oh, yes. In fact, if you're thinking about doing a portfolio career or owning your own business, branding is very important as far as I'm concerned. And there are many platforms right now, right, for you to establish your personal brand, right? I mean, LinkedIn is one, of course. Then you have like TikTok, you have YouTube, and so on. It's important because people need to know you. And when you are taking on a portfolio career, not only are you delivering on a service, but you need to market your own service. Right? When I was in LinkedIn, people knew me not because of me, but because of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because of my title. People wanted to meet with me because of my
who
company,
you are.
my title.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And in fact, when I left, and I text, the people that I thought were my friends, half of them did not respond.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And
Because you're
that's
no longer
reality.
used to them, right?
Yeah,
You're
that's
no
right.
longer that
Or at least that's
high-flying
what
guy.
they think.
Yeah, but no longer that high position in that multinational company that's so cool to say, I know this person,
Yeah,
right?
and that's why I always believe that when things like this happen, you get to find out who your real friends are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
And they and the same thing as well. When I left headhunting, suddenly a lot of people didn't want to talk to me anymore.
Because you're like that entrepreneur going out on your own.
Suddenly, like, oh, you're not the person who can lend me jobs anymore.
Yeah.
But life goes on. Like what Frank said. I think one of the biggest criteria if you want to consider a portfolio career, which means basically going out on your own, is you must develop a very hard.
Thick skin.
Thick skin and a hard shell. In fact, not just a thick skin. No.
Yeah.
I always joke to my kids that I fail every day. Every day, but you pick yourself up. When you try and do a pitch and you don't succeed,
learn.
so you just learn, and you fail forward. You fail forward when you encounter this. Okay, fine. Let's figure out how to do it better, but let's keep doing it again.
Yeah.
So you must have a very thick skin before you even want to try portfolio career.
Which is why I feel like, golf is such a great game. You play golf or not, Frank?
I used to.
Right? But, I mean, it used to be like the number one networking game on the planet for
All
many,
the
many
business
years.
deals were happening on
But
the
now
golf
they're
course.
saying it's paddle. I don't buy it. I still think it's golf because you spend 4.5 hours, 5 hours, sometimes more if you're going for dinner after that. And, all
And
that
there's a
to
lot of
actually
time to
network.
talk as well in between, right?
Yeah, and I've been playing
Yeah.
golf for like 7 years now, taking it quite seriously for about 4 years now. And let me just tell you, the number of friends I have made, and I consider it networking because sometimes, right, you don't even tell each other at the
What you
start,
do.
like what you do. Some people recognize you, some people don't, right? And at the end, you just find out, like, you're in awe about what, this person you just played golf with is doing.
And oftentimes
right?
it's just random, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just on a random. Okay.
Okay.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the ECP heading to the city after the KPE exit, look out for a broken down vehicle. Also on the KJE towards the PIE, an accident after Chua Chu Kang Drive's exit causing quite a bit of backup. This is taking up lane 1. On the AYE towards the MCE after Tuas West Road, a vehicle's broken down there as well. Wherever you are this morning, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We're just talking about golf and what a great networking sport it is on The Big Show TV. Later, we'll talk a little bit more. We'll continue from where we left off on The Big Show TV. But for now, for those of you who are just joining us, we have with us Frank Khoo, who is the founder of Next Play and was the former head of Asia Talent Solutions for LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Frank, for joining us today. Frank, of course, will be one of the panelists at the Mid-Career Magic Workshop to be held on the 19th 18th of April, right here at the SPH Auditorium. This, of course, because of Workforce Singapore and Career Agility International, right?
That's right. So
Why did you come up with this workshop, Adrian?
So what was interesting is that in the past year, a common career question that came up for most people, most of the clients and people we talk to in their early 40s is, will I still have a job at 50? Because given the whole spate of retrenchments, everyone's going, letting people go, and now with the Trump tariffs coming in and everything, there's so much uncertainty in the market. They're thinking, will I even have a job when I'm 50? So we wanted to address that and talk to our listeners out there, especially because I love our Kiss 92 listeners. They are intelligent and it's just amazing how the other options are available outside of corporate. That's why, in your mid-career phase, point in time, you start thinking about, okay, maybe in the next 5-10 years, I want to push through to a corporate. How do I progress my career? But beyond that, how can I prepare for the next step, which could be pivoting into a new role, portfolio career, or even post-employment plans, which is basically, I wouldn't call it retirement, but what to do when you finally decided that
you have so much time on your hands.
Yeah, correct. And when you're financially independent with your Freedom Fund and everything, and then what do I do, you see? So we have catered the whole day's events to just talk about what are those options that are available, which you may have been thinking about, but you want to find out more information. So we're going to, Yen and I are going to share these ideas with you. And we've even got a strong panel of individuals who have gone through their career journeys out of corporate already and now running their own business. So we have Frank, we have Juliana. We got a whole group of Julie, sorry, a whole group of individuals who are there to share their ideas, and you can even come up to them and ask them all the questions.
Right.
Okay, nice.
Franca, what do you think is the most stressful thing about working in the corporate world?
I think, first of all, there's management responsibility, both upwards as well as downwards. So for many of us, even if you are the head of APAC,
Right.
we are still middle managers. Because there'll always be people who are above you who will establish a certain direction or KPI for you. And then you need to bring these objectives, KPIs, to your team, who most of the time will resist. They say it's not fair, right? It can't be achieved. And so it's really about balancing the tension between expectation from the top and motivating the team to be able to achieve it, even if you do not believe
Yeah.
you can. Right?
Is it stressful? Would you say?
It can be stressful, but then you need to develop the skills to know how to manage ambiguity. Right. Well, another example of ambiguity is, for instance, we will always have our original team's KPI or objective, but in order to complete a work, you need to work with different teams. And so how do you then balance between their objectives and your objective and make it synergistic?
Right.
So it's stressful, but over time, and that's why you have leadership development programs to develop the skills to collaborate, to manage downwards, manage upwards, so that hopefully the organization can function in a more sane way.
It's usually the downwards that don't understand what's going on upwards and upstairs, so to speak, right? Because at the end of the day, there should be only one objective, right? And everyone should be towing the line. That's the thing, but it's hard to get everyone to toe the line, right? Okay, anyway, let's continue to talk to Adrian and Frank on The Big Show TV. Up next, Sophia Reyes and Alan Walker. This is a new one on Kiss 92.
This is brand new. Here's a tune.
Yeah, so, I did say we were going to talk a
Yeah, I
little
was
bit
going to
about
ask
the
you
golf.
about the golf thing. Yes.
Yeah. So don't you think? I mean, it's sometimes, just spending that time, like 4 hours, playing golf together and all that. It's like you really see like the real person. If you really hit it off and you start talking and you really get to know the sincere, the real person, as opposed to going for an event and knowing who the person is and
What they're wearing and
Yeah.
whatnot,
No, I agree with you. I think sometimes these networking events can be very fake and plastic.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Everyone's there for something.
Yeah, but if you're out there on the greens, you're just whacking the ball, and you can tell. I guess you can tell the person's personality, whether he's a cheater or whether he's. He's
I love
honest or not.
integrity as well, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like golf is perfect because I don't play golf, but you've got that 4 hours, like you said, and you're strolling and you're in the buggy.
Yeah.
There's downtime in
you talk
between.
about elements as well. Here
Yeah.
in Singapore, I mean, in Southeast Asia, it's hot. So I always say, it's resilience as well. If you can go out there,
Yeah.
you can still be in good spirits. You're networking with the people. You're playing fair. You're being generous. Sometimes okay. It's quite far from the whole. I give you. Things like that, right? You get to know the person so much better, right? Which is why I say paddle, nah.
But on that-
Because it's too fast moving. Where's there time to have a conversation unless
Correct.
it's before or after, right?
Yeah. Paddle, in fact, is very superficial. Very superficial.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts.
But it's just very popular and cool right now. I
It
like
is.
playing paddle.
It's the in thing, lah. But,
Yeah.
but quick question. So is golf competitive? When you go on a
It-
flight,
It can be.
It can be.
Are you?
It depends. If they want to be competitive, yeah, let's go. But if we just want to be friendly, that's okay as well.
Yeah, and from experience with golf, a lot of times it's about competing with yourself.
That's true.
Yeah, upping yourself, right?
You actually decide how well you play by your handicap.
Yeah.
And everyone has different handicaps. So in a sense, that was a joy of playing golf, that you try to improve yourself all the time.
Yeah.
What about in your new role now, running your own company and all that? Are you in competition with anyone?
Well, once you are starting a business, you're in competition with everyone, right? In fact, like Adrian and I, we can say that we are in competition with each other because we're talking about transition. I mean, I'm transition, Adrian is careers, and
Some
the,
clients will overlap.
exactly, there'll be
Yeah.
overlaps. But actually, we can also think about it as the pie is always growing, and that's
There
why
is
we are
enough
partnering.
space, right, for everybody.
The market's big enough. for
Yeah.
everyone. And I like that Frank has a different perspective. So and very early on when he was early in this journey, we were having coffee, and we were just exchanging ideas, and I think he has his strengths with regards to the corporate side of things. The leadership training. He's a very renowned leader and very heavily respected leader in the tech space. And I think that's the area which he's been moving in. And I think he's been very successful at it. And that leadership training piece is something I can't do because I don't want to do it. I'm not good at it. But no, so I
But you
leave
have
that
your
to him.
other strengths.
Yeah, so we play into our strengths and we collaborate.
Yes.
Collaboration,
Yeah, and in fact, within the community, there are a lot of coaches, trainers. Some of us are doing similar things. But what we do is that we always partner. We see each other as partner because we do believe that the problem we're trying to solve is going to get bigger and bigger because of such disruption, including the announcement by President Trump today.
The tariffs and all
Yeah,
that.
the life cycle for jobs is going to be
Yeah.
shorter,
Yeah.
and more people are going to be retrenched over the next couple of years. And it's something very important for us to try to solve right now. Get people in the right mindset so that when things happen to them, they are ready.
What is the right mindset?
Well, to first of all understand what your skills are, your interests, your personal values, and what is meaningful for you, right? What is your aspirations if you have a choice, right? So with this kind of mindset, you can then start taking some action. Maybe doing a side hustle, right? That's aligned with your interests and your values. And so when the ultimate, let's say a retrenchment happens to you, you can have plan B, right? So when you have plan B, you don't feel so lost because you have a bit of hope. And that's a problem I'm trying
And
to
a
solve.
plan as well,
And
right?
a plan, yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Because
And
many people at the back of their minds, I think they fear like, oh, if I lose my job, what am I going to do
Yeah.
right now? Especially if you're of a certain age, lah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like for me, look, I'm 50. I'm going to be 55 this year. Right? Am I worried? No, because if anything happens, I'll just retire, go play golf every day.
Because you know why? Because you have your freedom fund. You know, it helps if you're financially stable, but a lot of people don't.
I actually planned to retire at 55. No, can you believe it?
I thought it was 50, no?
No,
It was
50? No, 55.
55.
But
That's
because I'm
this year.
enjoying myself so much,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel like work,
Absolutely.
It doesn't,
right?
right?
So why?
And it doesn't feel like the time for you to retire yet. Because I feel like retirement, once you're ready, you're like, okay, you know, I'm done.
I have unfinished business. Let's just
Oh,
put it that
wow.
way.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
And nowadays, retirement is not about just opting out from work and doing nothing. Because the important thing is that, you know, we need to continue to engage our minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are likely to live longer. Can you imagine
Right.
you retire at 55 and your
Right.
lifespan is 100?
What are you going to do for
45 years to live. What do you do? And if you don't
that's
engage
true.
your mind,
That's
you'll
true.
degenerate. And, you know, it leads to dementia and
Alzheimer's,
so on.
everything,
I'll be
yeah.
traveling, that's for sure.
Exactly. That's one way to
Yeah.
engage your mind.
Which is why, you know, when FD was on the show, I was talking to him all the time. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not forcing you to retire, but he's like, I think he's close to 70 already, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 55, I'm thinking of retiring. This guy is not thinking of retiring at all, you know? But I'm like, I can't picture myself doing this when I'm 70.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. I'll be on an island somewhere.
With a cocktail in your hand and
yeah,
sand between your toes.
With some,
couple of girls
with some
by the side.
25-year-old girl or something.
There you go.
Okay, anyway, let's continue this conversation
On
in a
air.
while. Yes, on air.
It's heaven, ain't it out with that rose bar? I love you 24/7, 365.
Kiss 92 traffic.
If you're on the PIE heading towards the airport, look out for an accident after the BKE. This is causing quite a bit of congestion. Avoid lane 1. On the SLE as well towards the BKE after Upper Thompson Road's exit. Another accident with congestion to Lentor Avenue exit. Avoid lane 3. Yet another accident on the CTE towards the AYE before Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1's exit. And finally on the KJE towards the PIE, you guessed it, another accident after the BKE entrance. Avoid lane 1. Lots going on out there. Please be extra safe. Let us know if you spot anything. It's 8855
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. What a session we've had this morning. Really enjoying ourselves talking to Adrian Chu as well as Frank Koo, who is the founder of Next Play. For those of you who are just joining us, Frank, tell everyone what's Next Play again.
Well, Next Play is the company I set up to help people in a transition, in career and in life. And hopefully, the next chapter can be a play.
Oh, I like the sound of that. So Frank is just one of the panel speakers that's going to be at Mid-Korea Magic happening on the 19th of April here at the SPH Auditorium with Adrian Chu as well as Yen from Korea Agility. There's Frank Koo, there's Tamil Shelvan, who is with ERA Realty Network. There's Julie Lee as well, and Brian Liu. So esteemed panel of speakers that are going to be there on that day.
Yeah, and all of them are pivoters who have successfully done it, and they are going to share all the secrets with you.
Nice.
All right.
Secrets.
And if you want to register, I mean, there's still seats available.
There's still seats available, not many left, but hurry up. We're still having a promotion on. So
Okay.
Quick.
You heard it from Adrian. Hurry up.
KoreaAgility.org/Kiss92FM.
Do it now.
Thank you very much, Adrian. And thank you so much, Frank, for coming in.
Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Angel.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Adrian, for inviting me.
Yeah, it's always fun to be here. I was just telling Frank this morning that we've been doing this for the past 5 years and loving it so much.
Can't believe it's been 5 years, man.
Crazy.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
Up next, Blackpink. This is on Kiss 92.